So for anybody who wants to join me for New Year's Eve Tyrion Cuthbert, have a cozy little time if you don't have any other plans. I have some stuff later, but we're going to see if we can blast through this, and if I'm late for whatever, I'm late for whatever. Don't worry about it. I am very interested in where this is going, so I wish to continue it. A few things first. Number one, those of you who are following me on multiple platforms will notice that the first stream of this game is now on the YouTube channel, and I'm going to be releasing a stream's worth of episodes every week. So the YouTube channel will be roughly a month behind what we do here. So hopefully anybody who sees the episodes on YouTube and is interested in catching them live will stop by. And if I catch you at some point, coming on in, welcome. I know we had a few new people, I think the last stream. But anyway, that's kind of that. As far as, I think that's pretty much it. As far as the things I wanted to mention, not specifically to do with the plot. As far as the plot goes, I have edited and uploaded the first 2 cases worth so far. I intentionally haven't touched the first half of the case we're on now because I want to keep running on memory. But I do have a few new theories. One of the things that confused me last stream was, why would somebody push or allow the Justin fella to fall in the vat of chemicals and then have their arcane construct fall in, creating a witness or whatever, which is sometimes how these things go. But as I think about it, I've come up with a new theory. I don't think the person who did this realized there were any witnesses at all. I think this person saw Justin fall in, didn't help, realized they could use it to their advantage, had their arcane construct pushed through the railing to make it look like it was a case of negligence, which is how the prosecution was spinning it in the first day, and they didn't realize anybody was watching them at all. So that would kind of make sense. That kind of explains how that went down. Am I right? Am I wrong? I guess we'll see. I'm also still, my gut is telling me that we haven't met the murderer yet. I don't think the murderer has actually appeared on screen. I think the murderer is probably someone associated with or part of House Sanctus. I don't legitimately think it's Rika. I don't think it's our little Chudy childhood friend. I thought about it maybe being this fella called the Eye Taker, but that fell apart for a couple reasons. First of all, I get that the Eye Taker doesn't like Justin and Justin owes him a ton of money, but why would the Eye Taker murder Justin as he's stealing the money he needs to pay off his debt? That does not seem like it's in his best interest. Also, where would the Eye Taker get an arcane construct? But one thing I will mention, as I was editing the first 2 cases, I don't want to mention some of the things that stood out to me as being cool in hindsight, because there is some stuff being foreshadowed in different ways that you don't catch the first time around. But there is one thing I do want to flag up. When Arya met Ruby at the end of the first case in the waiting room, she came by, she saw us, just to talk briefly about the case after the fact. And Arya called Ruby something. And Ruby is obviously very notorious among certain circles. She's not well liked for her stances on certain things and what she's doing politically and things like that, and a bit of her history. She's got a lot of enemies or a reputation. And obviously, you know, someone has a nickname, it's like, it's so-and-so, the Reaper of the Bale is, what's his face in Great Ace Attorney was called. And you're like, how did they get that nickname? It's like, that's weird. I wonder if we'll get some elaboration for that. Arya called Ruby the Hound of the Eye Taker, which immediately caught my attention because the Eye Taker is a name we didn't really hear until this case. The Eye Taker is a character. In this case, we haven't met them. Like I said, I don't think they're the guilty party. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But Tyrion maybe even had mentioned, again, I haven't gone over the first half of this case again. I haven't edited it or cut it down for YouTube. But he may have even said, where have I heard that name before? And I'm pretty sure I said, no, we haven't heard that name. I haven't heard it before. That's a new one. That's actually a new one. I don't think that's come up. It had come up. Arya mentioned it, and for some reason Ruby is associated, so I wonder if that's going to come up this trial. We are going into the second day of trial, so there's been a lot of investigation, and we went through a lot of the case last stream, but I think there's still a lot more to go. I have a feeling we're going to see 3 days in trial, so I'm pretty sure we're seeing another 4 or 5 hour stream here. We're going to go to the end. I want to get this case done. I want to see if we can maybe do a half case every stream, which will be nice, before we get to the Apollo Justice remake. But in the meantime, and we'll probably learn some more about this Horus thing. I think we're taking a break from Eris temporarily. She was obviously huge in the second case. But I wonder if we're going to learn a little bit more about this Horus thing, because we haven't really learned a lot about the origins of it, other than we seem to have inherited it from our mother. But other than that, it hasn't really come up, so I wonder if we're going to touch on that more, or if it's going to be something that becomes more prominent next case. Either way, into trial we go. I'm not even sure what the angle is here now, because are we treating this as a murder? Are we treating this as negligence on the part of the employer? What's going on? I guess it's Dracogen is still the one who's on trial, so let's rock and roll. I have no idea where today's trial is going. I remember most of what happened last time, just like I remembered the second case and the second stream, mostly, but I still don't know where any of this is going yet. We are missing a lot of puzzle pieces still. Court is now resumed for the trial of Stefanik Dracogen. God, what a name. Let us review the proceedings from 2 days ago. Yes, please do that for Psy'Min's sake. At first, the facts of the case seemed very straightforward. The victim, Justin Wayne, put his weight on a poorly maintained guardrail in the refinery grounds. Said guardrail broke, causing Justin Wayne to fall to his death. However, the defense presented a shocking piece of evidence in the previous proceedings. Yeah, we Repario Arcanum'd the hell out of that walkway, and it turns out things were not what they seemed. Traces of transmutation magic were found on that same broken guardrail. This new evidence implies that sabotage, if not outright foul play, played a part in the death of the victim. This evidence is also accompanied by conflicting testimonies from witnesses. All of these elements have thrown quite some doubt on the validity of the prosecution's case. Speaking of the robbing of the money that Justin was trying to do for the eye taker, we also have the curious incident of it seeming as if the robbery actually did take place, because the safe was picked and all that, but nothing was missing. So I wonder what's going to come of that, what's happening there. Yes, however, the prosecution maintains that the Dracogen Trading Company is at fault for Justin Wayne's death. Also, we got to meet Arya and her fiancé, and more importantly, meet a very different Arya while her fiancé was in the room. She goes full-on smitten. I wouldn't even say smitten, she just completely loses her shit whenever he's in the room, which is hysterical. And I wonder how much that's going to happen in the future. Even though someone may have sabotaged the guardrails, the prosecution acknowledges that sabotage may have occurred at the scene of the accident. However, we also believe that there are several factors in this case that the court is overlooking. As we all know, several witnesses were present at the refinery at the time of the accident. The harbor master was showing a patron around the refinery. She's just going to keep referring to him as the patron. The patron is her fiancé, but she just wants to not talk about it right now. Musarika Tudor, and again, this is my maybe suspicious character, but we're going to have to connect a lot of dots to draw a line between one and the other for that, was making a food delivery and entered the building. And of course, the victim, Justin Wayne, was obviously present as well. Each and every one of these people had no business being in the refinery that night. That's also a thing. This is a whole bunch of coincidence, but then what else is new for these games? In the case of the harbor master and his patron, it would be hardly reasonable for anyone to stop them. I doubt anyone would stand in the way of the Crown Prince. Yes, but again, why does the Crown Prince want to wander around a refinery for no reason? He is very eccentric. But again, coincidences. That may be, but Justin Wayne worked in the freight division and should not have been at the scene. I've already verified this with my client. The victim was not authorized to be in the refinery building. And who stopped Justin Wayne from entering the area unauthorized? Oh, is that going to be her angle? Isn't it the defendant's duty to prevent such individuals from entering the building? My client can't be held responsible for Justin's breach of the set protocols. Also, are those the set protocols? Because again, the Harbor Master, the Crown Prince, Justin and Justin's lunch lady were all wandering around. Clearly, it can't be that difficult to get in. And you surely can't hold my client responsible for someone sabotaging the guardrail. This so-called sabotage is only theoretical until a proper culprit is found. Yeah, again, we haven't gotten to that. So who? Who is that? Who did that? I might be compelled to agree with you, Miss Steelwind. After all, there's no hard evidence that proves the traces of transmutation were left by a specific spell. What kind of mental gymnastics is that? I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Again, there's a lot of holes that need to be filled. Every part of the guardrail that had traces on it was rusted. They're bending the context of what happened to suit their purposes. Although, to be fair, Celeste does have a point there. Hard evidence means everything here, and the rod of mending has been reduced to shards in the vat. Yeah, a lot of evidence has just been destroyed, which was intentional. Without the complete rod, we can't prove that someone used it to sabotage the guardrail. Oh, does it keep logs too? Every magic item in this game keeps logs. What the hell? Regardless, it is not the responsibility of the Dracogen Trading Company to ensure that its employees do not wander into restricted areas. Again, have we established this as a restricted area? Because people just seem to come and go as they please. Blaming a potential saboteur puts the cart before the horse. It doesn't just stop with Justin Wayne either. Why was Mosarika Tudor able to enter the building? Yeah, okay, yes, fair. Let's answer this. Let's deal with this. She doesn't even work for the refinery, yet she was able to waltz into the building without any trouble. To be fair, I used to work at a factory way back in the day, and people could just come in and go up and talk to people if they knew where they were going. It's not like we kept security at the doors or something. Actually, Steelwind does have a point about Rika. Shouldn't something have stopped her from entering that area? We doubt that Dracogen would show that kind of negligence. Well, again, show us these doors. Who is there to stop them, and are they locked, and etc. If that's true, I believe that we should hear from Miss Tudor directly. Has she taken the stand yet? Yes, she did take the stand last stream. Let's hear how easily she gained access to the refinery on the day of the accident. We've already anticipated that. Mosarike Tudor is prepared and ready to testify. Well, very well then. Bailiff, please escort Miss Tudor to the stand. God, I'm back here again? What the shit? Miss Tudor, are you aware of why you've been called here today? Leave me alone! If you're the culprit, you're going to be up here a third time, I imagine. Yeah, I heard everything from the gallery. Then you'll have no problem answering the following question. Did you encounter resistance when you entered the refinery the night of the accident? So, assuming that Rika is innocent, she might show a little bit of a conflict of interest here because she does like Dracogen. She's certainly not opposed to him. She trusted him enough, and she's close enough to Justin and Dracogen to introduce them. How honest is she going to be here? Yeah, probably not much. Witness, may I remind you that you are under oath to tell the court everything that you know. Can we just... Tell me there's a truth-telling spell. Tell me someone developed one of those, because if we have one, if that exists, we should really be using it on every person that comes up here. I don't need you to take an oath. We're just gonna put you under a spell that makes you not bullshit, so these things don't take an hour. Failure to do so is a crime. Oh! Go to Trudy mode? No. No one tried to stop me. Oh, not even a witness testimony, just, yeah, I waltzed in. Sorry, Tyrion. You have nothing to apologize for, witness, so, okay, maybe we're not going full witness testimony with her, we're just getting a question answered. The only one at fault is the Dracogen Trading Company and their negligence. Yep, she pushed back on that, I figured. Hey, that's... For the record, please testify in detail about how you went to the refinery that day, Miss Tudor. Okay, we are getting a testimony. I feel like I'm getting jerked around here. Just say what you gotta say. Here we go. So, and also what is going to come of this? If Rika is just like, yeah, I walked in, delivered lunch, saw the thing. No, we're doing this for a reason. From a game design point of view, something is going to come of this or we wouldn't be doing it. So what information are we actually going to glean from this topic? That day I was looking for Justin in the freight area, but I couldn't find him. Also, is the freight area restricted? I decided to look for him in the refinery's main building. There was some kind of magical door leading into it, but it was unlocked. Oh, okay. So Justin does have a magical lockpick. And I also wondered how that was going to come into play, considering we'd already established he'd opened the safe in the boss's office. But this is probably going to be attributed to Justin, and we're going to have to establish that. We're going to have to talk about the burglary, which I don't think was something we were aware of during the first day of trial. Nothing really stopped me from entering the refinery building. But magic door. As the court can clearly see, there were no safeguards preventing the witness from entering that restricted area. The witness clearly stated that there was a magical door leading into the building. Also, how do you know it's a magical door? If it's just open and you can push it open, it's like, oh, it's a, like, how do you, what are the telltale signs? Is it ornate? What's up? This was obviously some sort of security door powered by artificery, or that, which was still unlocked and effectively useless. Damn it. There must be a way to prove that the unlocked door wasn't Dracogen's fault. Yeah, it was Justin's fault. We know where this is going. But again, what's going to come of this? What is the point? That day I was looking for Justin in the freight area, but I couldn't find him. I think we press right off the bat when we play this. You were there to deliver his dinner to him, am I correct? Yeah, he was usually in the freight area around that time. I was surprised when I didn't see him there. I was a little worried, so I decided to look for him in the refinery's main building. Also odd that Justin decided to take time that he knew Rika would be coming for him to go and do this burglary. That seems a little bit, that seems like a minor plot hole. I decided to look for him in the refinery's main building. It seems strange that you'd go looking for him. Why not just leave his food with one of his coworkers? I thought of that, but I also wanted to make sure that he was okay. I was the one that helped him get the job in the first place. It wouldn't look good if he left in the middle of a shift. How did you enter the refinery building, Miss Tudor? I want to know how she entered the freight building. The refinery building may be less safe, but the freight building seems like it would have things that could be stolen. There was some kind of magical door leading into it, but it was unlocked. By magical door, do you mean that it was a door powered by artificery? Yeah, I have a door like it in my restaurant too. Ah, okay. So it's like heavy duty with magic bolts. But this one looked a lot more complex. Why would you or Dracogen need magical doors anyway? The one in my cafe magically locks the shop when I close it for the day. I guess the door to the refinery building was for the same thing. But that means that there was a mechanism to keep out unauthorized personnel, which was effectively useless. The witness entered the refinery and encountered zero resistance. Furthermore, the Inquisition has already logged the specs for the door. Oh, well, hello. That will be useful later. The only entrance to the refinery building is a door with an artificery lock, so it's not just the entrance, it's the only entrance. Magical keys can be used to unlock the door for 5 seconds. Interesting. After these 5... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, this is raising questions already. How could she have come across an unlocked door if it could only stay unlocked for 5 seconds or it triggers an alarm? The doors can only be unlocked for 5 seconds with the magic keys. After these 5 seconds, the lock automatically closes the door and engages the lock. The lock can only be disabled by Stefanik Dracogen. So, okay, he'll be blamed for that because it was disabled, they will argue. The door can be physically prevented from closing, but this would trigger an alarm within the security system. Did you use a key to unlock the door, Miss Tudor? No, I didn't. As you can see from this report, Stefanik Dracogen was the only person capable of disabling the lock. It also begs the question of how the Harbor Master and the Prince got in. Unless Dracogen disabled the lock because of them? We'll have to ask him about this too. I guess Mr. Dracogen kept the door unlocked during work hours. This means that it's entirely Dracogen's fault that the victim gained access to the building in the first place. Also, we keep brushing over the fact, wasn't this more or less in the middle of the night? How is that working hours? Hang on a second. Do I have autopsy report for this Well, no, he got liquefied in acid. I don't have an autopsy report. On the night of the accident, yeah. Delivers food. Yeah, it was dinner. Okay, I guess we're saying evening. Like, what, 10 o'clock? I'm just curious about a time frame here, because we keep talking about this stuff. There's the eye taker, yep. I wonder if he's related to Ruby. On the night of the accident. We keep talking about the night of the accident. Yeah, it doesn't really give us an exact time frame, but yeah, it's funny they keep talking about working hours. It's like, is this a... I was under the impression this was a 24-hour factory, because it just... Who works at 10 p.m.? This means that it's entirely Dracogen's fault that the victim gained access to the building in the first place. Wait, that's not what I meant to... But that is what you implied. Unless you can prove that another person disabled that door. Yeah. I believe that Justin could pick it. I'm not sure he could disable the security. Yeah, we can't refute that statement yet. But we might be able to work with this new information. Oh, here we go. Regardless, please add that last statement to your testimony, witness. All right. Mr. Dracogen must have disabled the lock. No one else could have disabled it. That's quite the leap in logic. The specs of the door state that the lock can only be disabled by Stefanik Dracogen. Sorry, but I can't think of any other reason why it would be disabled. I mean, I get it. Sometimes I forget the key to my shop. It becomes a real headache when I get locked out. I suppose that makes sense, but would Dracogen really do something like that? The lock is designed to be disabled only by Dracogen. Or perhaps someone did something to bypass that. Is that how we bring up Justin? Nothing really stopped me from entering the refinery building. Are you sure you're not forgetting any obstacles that you encountered? No, I would have remembered something like that. If someone told me that I wasn't supposed to be there, I would have just left. She seems sincere about that. It was probably an honest mistake. Rika didn't even realize that she entered a restricted area. The fact that she was able to enter it so easily is definitely strange. This reminds me of that story I've told before about running into Felicia Day at a Comic-Con because I was allowed somewhere I wasn't, just because I was wearing a suit. Boys, security sometimes. Yeah, negligent. Very negligent. Dracogen must have had precautions to prevent such a thing from happening. You'd think. Maybe the employees got lazy and disabled the lock against his orders. Well, they couldn't. It's possible, but would Dracogen really allow something like that to happen? Okay, so first things first. I'm tempted to repress everything because this game likes to throw new stuff in. But let's say Mr. Dracogen must have disabled the lock. No one else could have disabled it. Justin had some spell picking. I also wonder how this is going to come in. We got this from the prince, actually. Eye taker. Oh, perhaps one of the citizens of Honorax could tell us more. Perhaps Ruby can. Okay, here's the mention of the lock-picking and safe-cracking tools. He was planning to break into the refinery building, comma, so literally addressing the door. And this is according to Wyatt. All right, let's throw this out there. We don't seem to get penalized for throwing out bad evidence, so let's just toss this at Rika's face and see if it sticks. Objection! It does. All right. Miss Steelwind, you claim that my client expressed negligence by disabling the door. Man, when I was editing that second case, I spent so much time on that first Frege testimony. It was like 15 minutes because I was so baffled by it. I should have just started throwing things sooner if I knew there was no penalty. You claim that my client expressed negligence by disabling the door. This is the reason why the security door was unlocked and why the current witness was able to enter the building. That's correct. Your client's negligence allowed unauthorized persons like Justin Wayne to gain access to the building. And regardless of any sabotage, Justin Wayne died because he was in said unauthorized area. And what if I told you that another person may have disabled that door? Not because of laziness, but for more nefarious purposes. What are you talking about? If you recall, the witness entered the refinery building and spotted Justin Wayne afterward. That means that Justin Wayne entered the building before her. So that begs the question, how did Justin Wayne enter the building? The answer is obvious. He entered the same way the witness did, through the unlocked door. Not quite, Miss Steelwind. Since this trial began, we still haven't answered why Justin Wayne entered the refinery building in the first place. Yeah, again, I don't think this was actually brought up during the first day of trial. I think we discovered this the next day during investigation. He entered the refinery building with the intent of robbing my client's personal safe. Yeah, Rika knows about this already. Yeah, we've discussed this. I know you don't like it, but it's true. I already told you, Tyrion, he would never do something like that. I feel a little guilty about insulting a dead man's name like this, but it's the only possibility that makes sense. I'm sorry, Rika, but there are things about Justin that even you didn't know about. Wait till you hear what his friends were doing to my house. The truth is that he was deeply in debt to a crime lord named the Eye Taker, and he was extremely desperate to wipe that debt as soon as he could. Crime lord? She might know that name too. Ruby knows it, so Arya might as well. We'll see. I won't ask how you came across this information, Mr. Cuthbert, but what does this have to do with the disabled magical lock? Miss Steelwind, Justin owned a set of tools that he used for picking mundane and magical locks. The safe that he was planning to rob was located in my client's office within the refinery building. I have witnesses who saw Justin retrieve those tools shortly before the night of the accident. He clearly had a plan to disable any locks that stood between him and that safe. This means that it's entirely possible that Justin disabled the lock refinery door illegally. We're not actually going to bring them in, are we? Yeah, I'm kind of bluffing right now. Celeste is not a fan of those two. We sort of beat the tar out of one of them. You basically... No, nothing basic about it. She assaulted one of them. I'm not sure if he can... I'm still not sure if he can talk again yet. We both assaulted him, Tyrion. Yeah, a little. She says that as if it absolves her of any guilt. Hold on a minute. You can't just accuse him like that when he can't defend himself. Well, we don't really have a choice. He's dead. I'm sorry, Rika, but his delinquent friends told me about his plan. He didn't want to rob Dracogen, but he needed the gold to wipe away his debt. If Justin wasn't the one that disabled the lock, that would only leave Dracogen. Oh, that's... Well, we kind of fed her that line. What do you say, Rika? Do you want to smear Justin, or do you want to smear Dracogen? But there has to be an explanation where neither of them is guilty. No, there might not be. She definitely believes in Justin, but a scenario where both Justin and Dracogen are innocent is too optimistic, if not impossible. But it's not as if we're entirely certain of what actually happened that day either. True. I mean, there had to have been yet another person in that building, i.e. the murderer. So how did they get in? All right, Rika, you knew Justin better than I did. Let's assume that you're correct. Neither Justin nor Dracogen disabled the locks that day. How did either of you enter the refinery then? Well, someone must have disabled it before then. Wait, let me think through this. This isn't thinking, this is testifying. Plenty of people could have disabled the locks. Well, that makes them pretty lousy locks, doesn't it? Maybe one of the employees got lazy and forcefully broke it. Also, where is this going? What evidence do we have to address this? There was also that nobleman who was with Mr. Morrison. Oh, Arya's not going to like that. He's a mage and he could have used magic to do it. It could have also been one of the maintenance constructs. I saw one working on the machines. Maybe one of them broke the lock. I can barely even begin to point out all the issues with your theories, Miss Tudor. It is literally just theory crafting. You're just spewing imaginative nonsense on this isn't even a testimony. If you recall, the entrance lock can only be disabled by Stefanik Dracogen. Even Mr. Cuthbert's theory makes more sense than your list of suspects. Well, she's right. It doesn't matter how many suspects she presents. None of them have the credentials to disable the lock. But again, why are we doing this then? So why do we feel like there's something else wrong with her testimony? Oh? The defense would still like to exercise the right to cross-examine the witness. What a waste of time. Yeah, we're cross-examining, we're just theory crafting. We're just spitballing here. This isn't even court. This is just like, what if? While the court agrees with Miss Steelwind, we also recognize Mr. Cuthbert's right to cross-examination. However, I will not allow the defense to waste the court's time. If nothing substantial is gained from your cross-examination, I will not hesitate to end it early. Well, there's going to be... One of these days, we're going to have a cross-examination with actual consequences. Plenty of people could have disabled the locks. But as I said before, Dracogen was the only person able to legally disable the lock. And Justin Wayne was the only person who had the skill set to disable it illegally. Well, how do you know that someone else didn't have tools like that? That's certainly possible, but unlikely. Also, again, burden of proof's on you, little lady. The ability to pick a magical lock seems like a rare skill for anyone to have. As far as we know, no one else was there unauthorized that day. Well, there were at least 3... Yeah, exactly. Them and the murderer. Maybe one of the employees got lazy and forcefully broke it. Steelwind, did the Inquisition find any evidence of physical tampering on the entrance lock? None at all. Furthermore, if an employee had attempted what the witness is describing, it would have set off the refinery's security system. Sorry, Rika. Well, I'm surprised she hasn't gone into Chuny mode. I unlocked it with the power of my mind. It was me. It was totally secure and everything. I was able to just get in because I am such a good magician. Yeah, that's coming. You wait for it. There's also that nobleman who was with Mr. Morrison. He's a mage and he could have used magic to do it. Yeah, Ari's going to have an opinion on that. The Harbor Master's companion would have had no reason to perform such an act. Your personal bias might be clouding your judgment there, Miss Steelwind. This isn't merely an extrapolation based on his character, Mr. Cuthbert. The nobleman in question had the legal authority to enter the building. He wouldn't need to resort to such underhanded tactics. Right, as the Crown Prince, he could legally enter the Arcane Refinery if he wanted to. In fact, that's probably how he entered in the first place. Okay, good to know. So Dracogen probably just let them in. You would probably know that, since you two seem so close with each other. Or he's just like, why do you know my fiancé? I better not see you with him again. Is she jealous of our relationship with Oster? Maybe it'd be best to avoid bringing up Oster with her. She is jelly. She is very jelly. It could have also been one of the maintenance constructs. I saw one working on the machines. Maybe one of them broke the lock. Ah, so maybe this is the thing that bothers our guy. What is a... Yeah, that would bother our guy, because Dracogen said he doesn't use constructs. He specifically said that he was offered them by House von Sanctus, but he declined. So one of the maintenance constructs... What maintenance construct? Maintenance construct? You know, those magically animated suits of armor. Oh, she must have seen an arcane construct while she was exploring the refinery. Yeah, but why? Arcane constructs only perform the actions that they're ordered to do, and a construct at the Arcane Refinery would only take orders from their administrator, Stefanik Dracogen. Unless you want to imply that Stefanik Dracogen ordered the construct to break the lock, which would be stupid. May I remind the prosecution that constructs are prone to error and misinterpretation of their orders? Remember last case? Perhaps this construct accidentally broke the lock while carrying out its usual orders. The Inquisition found no evidence of physical tampering on the lock. We talked about this 2 statements ago. And even if they had, the security system would have been alerted the moment this happened. Well, I guess we have a lot of contradicting statements to work with this time. Yeah, I need to find a contradiction that's not so readily apparent. One that's not apparent? There's another contradiction in it. There's another contradiction. Boy, I'm just getting these guys' voice wrong all over the place. And I'm not even trying to do voices in the first place. I'm not sure, but I can't help but feel that she said something that doesn't fit with what we already know. Ignore the list of suspects and focus on the other details. She observed a lot that day, so something must be off with her observations. It's the construct. No, I didn't mean to do that. All right, maybe I get bonus things. I did not get bonus things. Simon's just wasting time. All right. That's one of the things that sort of annoys me mildly about the Ace Attorney series. I appreciate the format, but sometimes it's just like, okay, I've heard the tail end of the dialogue there. I don't need it again. And when I accidentally go past the last statement. All right, so where is the information? Here we go. This is it. Lloyd von Sanctus, Lord Lloyd, personally sold several industrial tools to Stefanik Dracogen. A lot of these tools were present. Also created the security system for the refinery. Oh, that went over my head. That's going to be important to keep in mind. So von Sanctus was responsible for the security system. So again, I feel like someone associated with House von Sanctus is responsible for this, and that would mean that they would have a way to bypass the security in some way. Man, them back doors. They even had them then. Von Sanctus attempted to sell Dracogen a few arcane constructs, a product that is not available to anyone else in Honorax, or Oranax, whatever. However, Stefanik did not trust the construct's ability to perform tasks to performs tasks efficiently. Nice English. He did not purchase any. I make enough errors when I read these sentences without having the errors in the sentences themselves, guys. But this is it. Maintenance construct? What maintenance construct?
Objection!
Yeah, that's gonna lead down some roads. Because I don't think we've actually established that what fell into the vat was an arcane construct either. We assumed it based on the evidence. I don't really see how it could be anything else. It's certainly our working theory, but it's not something the characters have really established yet. So this is where we're going then. This is, just like last case, these arcane constructs, man, this is going to lead to something. Yum yum. Blackberry sparkling water. Wait, that can't be right, can it? It can't. Rika, you said that you saw a maintenance construct inside the refinery building. I should probably have a little more warm coffee so I don't keep cracking my voice. Doing voices with cold drinks is usually not a good time. Are you sure that it was an arcane construct? Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on them in the Von Sanctus catalogs. They're not available to the public yet. When you saw this arcane construct, what was it doing? I'm not exactly sure, but it looked like it was doing maintenance on the machines. Maintenance on the machines. But it shouldn't have been there in the first place. What was it doing there? And more importantly, who sent it there? Where are you going with this, Mr. Cuthbert? As I said before, an arcane construct owned by the defendant wouldn't have disabled the lock. I agree. A construct owned by my client wouldn't have done that. But arcane constructs are extremely rare and not available to the general public yet. Furthermore, they are only produced and sold by Von Sanctus Industries. Lloyd Von Sanctus personally sold several products to the Dracogen Trading Company. However, when offered the opportunity to purchase his arcane constructs, my client turned him down. What? My client disliked the construct's flawed intelligence. He didn't want them working in the refinery. He turned down Lord Von Sanctus's offer in favor of utilizing human labor. Wait, then why did I see a construct there? Excellent question. Exactly. If my client did not own any constructs, why did the witness see one there? Or, to phrase this question differently, who sent that construct there? Who? Why would anyone send an arcane construct into the refinery? There was probably some sort of maybe sabotage involved? First, because again, they were trying to use the death of Justin for a certain end. Maybe they were already there for that ends in the first place. First, let's consider the rarity of arcane constructs. They are highly experimental and not available to the public yet. With all of these elements in mind, only one person in the city of Aranax could have done this. Wait! You can't possibly— Man, we are just going to accuse all the nobles during this game, aren't we? Man, I do miss Steelwind. Who sent the arcane construct? Few individuals had access to an arcane construct, so we are going to blame this guy. I kind of felt like he was a little too obvious. I don't think he's the main baddie, but he was probably up to some stuff. And even fewer had the ability to disable the locked door without alerting the security system. And we will probably present— or do I need to present a person? This is going to have to come up at some point because it specifically says they created the security system. Who sent it? Well, this is our only Von Sanctus dude. So, here you go, buddy. Only one individual could have done everything that I described. There's no way we're going straight to he's the murderer, though. There's so much we haven't covered yet. That is a bridge too far. But he probably did do this. He was probably up to some shady shit, and we know that because these guys did have a feud. Lloyd Von Sanctus, the noble lord of Aranax. I love that that entire graphic is just Ace Attorney, but there's a white mage on the witness podium. You can't be serious. Are you accusing Lord Von Sanctus of illegally sending a construct into the Arcane refinery? What possible reason would he have to do that? When Rika saw the construct, she said that it was working on the machines. But that construct was sent by Von Sanctus. It didn't actually work for Dracogen. Wait, could that mean... Rika, when you saw that construct in the refinery, was it carrying anything? Yeah, actually. It was carrying a large cylindrical machine. It looked pretty heavy. Like it would normally need to be held by 2 people? Yeah, how did you know? Well then. It all makes sense now. Von Sanctus has been far too aggressive in pushing these charges. It wasn't because he was desperate to get rid of Dracogen. It was because he needed to cover up what actually happened. Mr. Cuthbert, where are you going with this? You see, Your Honor, the tool that the witness saw that construct carrying wasn't just any tool. It was a rod of mending, an artificery tool that channels transmutation magic. Transmutation magic. There was no quotation mark on the end of that last line. As in magic that could be used to weaken and sabotage parts of the refinery. No. Are you seriously accusing? Your Honor, Lloyd Von Sanctus sent a construct into the Arcane refinery to sabotage it. In other words, Lloyd Von Sanctus is responsible for that guardrail breaking. Well, at the very least, we could establish that. That is true. Oh, well. Man, these guys are smart. They know the trial's going to be about them, and they're just sitting in the crowd just being like, you better not say something, you better not say something. Oh, you said something. Oh, you started shit. You fucked around. You're about to find out. I think I pretty much just gave him the Lloyd Pierce voice when I saw him. Just whiny, noble bastard. I think that's enough out of you, you upstart commoner. It's not like we're seeing Pierce again. Hopefully. There he is. I'm gonna deflect all these accusations with my ascot. The judge really needs to stop these guys from just barging onto the stand. To be fair, he's gonna stop a noble from a pillar family. True. If I want to stand here, I'm gonna stand here. There's not anything you can do about it. Is that right, Judge? You shut your mouth. I've had enough of these blatant accusations. If you want to sling mud at my name, you will do it to me directly. Well, at least he's got a spine. Lord Von Sanctus, as usual, Arya's like, this is a bad idea. Stop doing... Just because you can doesn't mean you should. You're gonna be saying, Lady Steelwind, say something 10 minutes from now, and I'm gonna be like, bitch, you're on your own. Lord Von Sanctus, I would highly advise against doing this. Please. Do you think I'm like that fool, Pierce? Yes, I do. That's why you're getting his voice. The defense's theory is laughable, and I have several pieces of evidence that can easily prove my innocence, even though he's scared. Do you not remember losing to us at chess? Because you're about to play another kind of chess, and you're going to lose much bigger. He has a good poker face, but the eye is telling me that he's a little desperate. Very well. If the defense wishes to accuse you, I see no harm in allowing you to defend yourself. The court would very much like to hear your testimony on the matter. I would not. I'm leaving. I always have a cold. I just need this handkerchief all the time. It is possible to order a construct to complete a complex list of tasks, but doing so is ill-advised. I'm sure you observed this with the Nightgrave trial. Constructs are extremely prone to error when completing a long list of tasks. According to the defense, the saboteurs stole a rod of mending and used it to sabotage very specific sections of the refinery. I would never trust a construct to discreetly complete such an intricate set of tasks unsupervised. And before you ask, I was miles away from the refinery at the time of the accident. I have several associates who could confirm this alibi. Yeah, again, I don't think it was you. Therefore, I had no way of observing this construct from afar, nor did I have any way to communicate with it. Well, you just had to keep talking, didn't you? I wondered how that spell was going to play. Huh. Well then. I guess we know how that works. Again. Send message. Caster projects their voice to communicate with the target within a 30-foot radius of the target can hear the caster's voice. Caster can also hear sounds close to the target, allowing for two-way communication. Oh, and this would explain why he didn't see the witnesses, because you can't see things through send message. You can only hear. The target must be a person known to the caster, so maybe there had to be a person present, and that's why it sounded like there was a conversation. Lord Von Sanctus was not on site, but someone else was. Or the target can be an object that is attuned to the caster's magic. Okay, never mind. It doesn't necessarily. It could have been two people on the other end of that spell, and only an arcane construct was present. Which answers some of the questions I had in my mind about how this worked, because again, we have 3 witnesses to this whole situation. How come they never saw the person who nudged Justin over the edge or who ordered the arcane construct? Because they weren't there. Ah. Trixie McDixie. Okay. All right. Maybe we are going to end the trial right here. That would be... No, there's still... I don't think we're done here. If we are, this is going to be a very short stream, and I may just call it a very short stream, considering this is New Year's Eve, but we may go into trial 4, but let's see how this plays. That actually makes a lot of sense. The Nightgrave trial revealed the risks of ordering a construct to commit a crime. But nevertheless, Rika saw a construct in the refinery that day. That's indisputable. He definitely gave the construct a complex list of tasks to sabotage the refinery. And that raises one question. How did he account for the construct's error-prone logic?